Hi, I'm Joey Roberts.
And I'm Will Dickey.
And this is the third episode of Trinity SportsCenter. Let's get to the sports. The Trinity baseball team is currently 14-4 and ranked in the top 25 nationally. Notable players with solid statistics include senior right fielder Jim Wood, who has a .471 batting average with 8 home runs and 30 RBIs, senior center fielder Matt Sullivan, who has a .448 batting average with 2 home runs and 19 RBIs, and freshman third baseman Steve Rogers, who has a .500 batting average with 22 runs and 14 RBIs. Jim Ramsey is currently 3-0, and Eddie Donovan has saved a team-high 3 games. They will be heading up to Tufts this weekend for a huge 3-game series. How they do against the Jumbos will have a big effect on the NESCAC playoff picture.
The Trinity softball team is currently leading the NESCAC East Division with a 6-0 record. Junior pitcher Kristen Anderson was named the NESCAC Pitcher of the Week as she threw 2 complete games in the sweep of Bates this past weekend. Another bright spot for the Bantams has been junior Nicole Nardella, who leads the team with a .414 batting average and has hit a team-high 5 home runs. Like the baseball team, they will also head up to Tufts for a huge weekend series. Tufts is currently in second place in the East Division with a 5-1 record.
The women's lacrosse team suffered their first loss of the season against Tufts last Saturday. Even with the loss, the women are still ranked in the top 10 nationally and still have the best record in the NESCAC. Junior Rachel Romanowski and Kaylin Irvine lead the team in points with 32 and 25 respectively, while sophomore Liz Bruno leads the NESCAC in caused turnovers and ground balls per game. They will host the Middlebury Panthers this Saturday at 2 p.m.
The men's lacrosse team has hit a bump in the road as they have lost 3 of their last 4 games. Senior Harper Cullen has scored a team-high 20 goals, while junior Kevin Luby has tallied 19 points, 8 of which have come from assists. The Bantams are currently 1-5 in the NESCAC and will look to get their second conference victory Saturday when they travel up to Vermont to play the Middlebury Panthers, who are currently 3-3 in NESCAC play. The Bantams will host Bates and Amherst next week to close out the NESCAC regular season.
The varsity 8-man crew team have taken first place in each of the last 3 weekend meets. The biggest victory came over spring break when the Bantams traveled to San Diego and took first out of 17 teams in the San Diego Crew Classic. The team has been led by senior tri-captains Hal Levitt, Nate Kelly, and John Graves. The men will try to continue their success this weekend when they will compete against the likes of WPI, Bates, and New Hampshire.
The women's varsity crew team has had a great start to their season. Last weekend they took first place in a 4-team meet against Mount Holyoke, Smith, and Holy Cross. They followed that up with a second place showing against the likes of Bates and Rochester, among others. They'll head up to Massachusetts to take on Bates, New Hampshire, Skidmore, and Vassar this weekend.
The women's track and field team has been extremely competitive this spring. Some individuals have emerged as bright spots for the Lady Bantams. Sophomore Allison Selby, freshman Paige Green, and senior Monette Johnson have put in solid performances in each of the past 3 weekend meets. The women will participate in the Larry Ellis Invitational and the Sylphan Invitational this weekend.
The men's track and field team has had a good spring season thus far. They finished 10th out of 16 teams at the Jerry Gravel Classic at Westfield State, 3rd out of 11 teams at the Coast Guard Invitational, and 8th out of 10 teams in the 9-way Invitational. Seniors Alex Belairjan and Billy Monahan have had successful springs on the track, while junior Mike Goulet has had a dominant spring so far in the field. Like the women, the men will participate in the Larry Ellis and Sylvan Invitationals this weekend.
The men's tennis team has had a great start to the spring season. They have been in and out of the national top 25 rankings with their superb 8-3 record. The Bantams have been led by senior Spencer Feldman, sophomore Dan Cousins, junior Rich Bonfiglio, and sophomore Anson McCook. The men will be embarking on a huge 4-game NESCAC stretch starting next Thursday when they will travel up to Medford, Massachusetts to play the Tufts Jumbos. How they fare on this stretch run will indicate whether or not they make the NESCAC postseason tournament that is less than 1 month away.
The women's tennis team is coming off 2 tough NESCAC losses to Tufts and Middlebury. They are currently 3-3 with NESCAC matches against Connecticut, College, Bates, Wesleyan, and Williams still on the schedule. The Lady Bantams will rely on players such as Hillary Hoyt, Jill Steckloff, and Kelsey Semrod to help win some big matches over the next few weeks. With some big victories, the ladies will get the opportunity to play the NESCAC postseason tournament.
The men's golf team is coming up with a solid 3rd place showing this past weekend at the Hampton Inn Classic. The Bantams, led by Josh Grossman, Reed Longley, David Anderson, Jay Driscoll, and Alex Birmingham, are gearing up for next Saturday's NESCAC Championship Tournament hosted by Williams College. As a tune-up for the championship, they will be playing in the Worcester State Invitational this weekend. Before we wrap up the show, we want to congratulate former basketball player Paul Schlickman, class of 1989, on becoming Central Connecticut State's new athletic director. Hey Will, it's a big week next week. I think the NFL draft's happening.
Hey, maybe there's actually something bigger than that. We got Snoop Dogg coming to campus.
Hey, enjoy Snoop Dogg. We hope you enjoyed Trinity SportsCenter. Tune in next week.